guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. This is Jessie again. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about my background, my family, where I come from, many things that have gone on in a positive note in my family. You may hear my kids in the background a little bit. My daughter's sick, so I had to keep her home from school, and yeah, she's coughing up a little bit, gave her medicine, she should be, doing okay. So I'm sorry for the background noise. I also have the windows open because for Miami we're having really nice weather. It's actually in the 60s right now. Again, I wanted to start with letting you know I'm 28 years old. My immediate family is Cuban. My mother's from Havana, so is my father. And they met after my mother already had a son. My brother came from my mom's first marriage. Then my parents met, and 10 years later my mom had my sister. 10 years after my brother was born is what I mean. And then 10 years after that they had me. So we're all 10 years apart, the siblings. My father has a daughter from a previous marriage as well, where we actually started to get close recently. I'm still working on that. It took a while for us to get reconnected, and I feel that there's a special bond there. It's just taken a while for us to get there. So basically my father has always been very hardworking. He got to the point where he got us all cars and had the big house and he was a great provider for our family, and he was amazing. And he was absent a lot because he was working so hard, but he was a great provider. Then we have my mom at home. He wanted her to stay at home, and basically he wanted her to stay at home and not work and not worry about anything. We had someone to clean the house, and that was my lifestyle growing up. So a lot of things were done for me. The thing is that throughout all that, my mom started becoming depressed as a stay-at-home mom. She started losing her passion for the things that she wanted to do with her life. She had a rough childhood, and she did the best she could with what she had. She didn't realize she was depressed. She didn't realize the effects she had on us as a mother. So growing up around her was very lonely, and I don't think that she knows that. And basically it hurts to let her know that, but it was very lonely. And what I learned from that was that now, being a mom, I can learn to not be that way, because I'm a stay-at-home mom as well. So I'm learning to be more present for my children, and not letting myself dip, and not letting myself be absent, and not letting myself neglect my children. Not that I was neglected. Like, I had my meals, I had my baths, I had my roof, I had the roof over my head. I was taken to school every day. My mom drove me to school, picked me up, and it was, I was taken care of. So, between my parents, that was, basically it. The person I had around a lot was my sister. Now my sister, in reality, she's 10 years older than me. So she was a little bit overbearing, only for the reason that my mom gave her a lot of responsibility with me. My sister did drive me around a lot. She did worry about me. She would buy me necessities, things like that. She would feed me. She took responsibility. She took over. Before I was born, my mom had she basically had a miscarriage. It was a long story with a pregnancy before me. So my sister was pretty devastated at a young age. She was very mature, and she understood what was going on, and she lost a sibling. And then when I was born, she was afraid to lose me as well, so she became a little bit overbearing, and that created a lot of friction with our relationship. She started being overprotective, and my mom was more like, yeah, go do what you want, do whatever you want, and then my sister was more like, oh, where are you going? Who are you gonna hang out with? Who are you gonna be with? But where are you gonna go? And it was just like, whoa. And many times I told her, hey, you're not my mom. Although it was true, it was kind of rough of me, So my sister and I have similar backgrounds, but that's not for me to tell you guys. That's my sister's story. So my sister has been angry many years of her life, and her reactions to things in life have been very aggressive. and not in an abusive way. It's just that she's very defensive. She has many walls put up because she defends her feelings. She defends herself because that's just the way she was built from a young child. And with my background, I've been more timid. So instead of acting out, I bottle in. So we're opposites. Lately, we've had better communication ever since I've started therapy. I've learned how to speak a little bit better. And I was able to talk to her about anger and acting defensive and having better communication with each other. And our relationship has truly blossomed. And having someone that understands exactly what I went through, it's liberating. So that's a little bit about my sister. She's a very giving person. She puts me before herself all the time. And I tell her all the time she needs to take care of herself. And when I think about it, she's very selfless, and she's a great person. And she's amazing with my children, and she puts them first. Now they come before me, which is funny. But it's great. They love their aunt. You know, that's a little bit about my sister. And then my brother, the only thing I can say about him, the gift that he gave me is my niece. My niece is now, she's gonna be 24 this year, and she's a gift from God. She's like if she was my sibling. I was 5 years old when she was born, and she's the best gift that I've ever received, other than my children. And she has made me strong in my weak times. And luckily now my support system includes her, it includes my sister, it includes my boyfriend, my children, although my children don't know what's going on, but they're little soldiers right under mommy, you know. And you know, I don't want to get too spiritual in case you don't have the same beliefs that I do, but in my case, I feel that God gives his strongest soldiers the biggest battles so that we can go out there and help other soldiers. So instead of taking what happened to me as a child as something bad, I prefer to see it as a blessing, because helping women, helping men, helping children, helping people that have been through so many dark moments out of the darkness is such a blessing for me. And it's liberating. It's like a cycle. The more I help you guys, it helps me heal too. I want you guys to know that, and I want to know your stories. I want to know how I can help. And again, I want to remind you, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a professional. I'm just speaking from my personal experience. I want to help guide you in a way from personal experience. That's basically my goal here, is from personal experience, and that's why I'm doing this series. And I want to let you know a little bit about my family to begin with, to see, you know, maybe you relate to my family, maybe you don't relate to my family. My grandparents, most of them were from Spain, and so this is a little bit more of the backstory. I'm going back a little bit. So my dad is a Cuban man with very, very headstrong, very go to school, get an education, do this, do that, and everything had to be his way, you know, but everything was with good intentions. And then when it came to my mom, it was more like, no, you need to stay at home. So it was very like macho, like, oh, I keep my wife at home and she doesn't work and she doesn't, and it didn't do any well for my mother. She didn't find anything to be productive with, and through that depression, I grew up in a depressed household. It didn't do very well for me. I learned it was either genetic. The depression that I go through is either genetic, or it was learned behavior. So, I mean, amongst other things that I've been through. But there were very good times. My dad, he was always off on Sundays. So those Sundays, he would teach me how to ride a bike. He would teach me to fly a kite. And I'm not trying to rhyme, but he taught me to be brave. He taught me he was that person to just uplift me. If I was going through something rough, if I went through a breakup, if I went through something, he would distract me by teaching me how to drive the biggest truck he could find. And because he knows that I like that stuff. I have my motorcycle license. It's like, I like to do things that women normally aren't known to do, you know? I like challenges. I'm an Aries, in case you're wondering. I like challenges. So my dad would distract me by having me go and drive trucks, and he helped me heal many times by distracting me. My dad knows me very well. And then we had my mother, who, you know, bad things would happen and she'd be like, it's okay. She was very complacent. And it's not that she knew better, you know, and the depression was, there were a few good times, you know, that I remember she was nurturing. There were a few times that I felt sick that I remember growing up, and she was, you know, worried, or she would take me to the doctor, things like that, nurturing mother stuff, you know. I remember getting close to her at some point, but there were many points that were difficult, very many points that were difficult, and that's what I want to get into next week. So for right now, I want to let you know all the good things about my family. So, oh, and my dad's an animal lover, and that's where I got that from. So I'm dying for a Sphinx cat. Dying for one. I really want one. My sister's allergic. We live together at the moment. So eventually I'll get my cat. I currently actually have a miniature dachshund. She'll be 11 on the day of my debut of my first video. As I go on with my series, I will talk to you guys about all of my topics that I mentioned last week, and I hope you guys continue to tune in. I have many interesting things to talk about, and again, it's from personal experience. I hope I can get through to you guys. This is my biggest passion, and my biggest goal, and my biggest blessing is being able to help you guys. So that's my family. I didn't have close cousins. They were all like 30 years older than me. I had a best friend growing up. She's still my best friend till today. And then I got a new best friend in high school. We're still best friends till today. I have another best friend that I met working, and they're all part of my support system. So I have 3 really great friends that I can go to and get 3 different perspectives, and actually I've met other friends through another venture, through my boyfriend actually, and they're amazing as well. They're very uplifting and about women empowerment, and it's been a great journey, and life is going a great way. And I think I'm gonna close off right there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want you guys to get to know me first before I get into details with everything else, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Tune in. Again, please let me know about your stories. If you want, email me. I will answer you back personally as soon as I can. Remember, I have 2 little ones and a lot on my hands, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. You are strong.